his weekly segment, Words of Wisdom and Moments of Meditation. So without further ado, I bring to you at this time His Highness, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, T-Boz.
What is the correct title of that song by the Outlaws?
Green Grass and High Tides Forever. Green Grass and High Tides.
Okay, Green Grass and High Tides. Boys and girls, I don't care, not on your phone. Go back to your old-fashioned stereo, put that on, and sit quietly. Don't be looking at your phone, checking Facebook, and just listen to the virtuosity of those guys on the guitars and the drums. Jock and I were doing, there's a break, we call it modulation because Jock and I are musicians, where they go bump, 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 and they go back into it. I'm telling you, please listen to his show from 10 until when I come on, because if not, you're missing some of the best music. So before we start, I have a little announcement. Yes, the Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-3 in the wild card, so that's going well. But I want Mr. Stan to come over here, please. George, keep bringing the people in. Hi, everyone. Hi. I know we started a little early, but we want to do something special today. Come on, Stan. Come up over here. Just watch your steps, Stan. Stan's coming up on the stage. There is a little stage here for me, and then Benjamin has the big screens on. Okay, they're on, so you guys can see the scripture verses and famous people quotes and take notes. So here's Stan. Stan right next to me. This is Stan, the coffee man. Everybody say hi to him. All right. Stan, on the 6th of October, which is coming up pretty soon, and you look so nice without that hat on, Stan. You should go out more often without that hat. You're one of the only guys your age that has all his hair. But anyway, and all his teeth in his mouth. So anyway, but I want to say something that on the 6th, Stan the coffee man turns a milestone. I know you guys don't believe it. He is going to be 80 years old. 80. And he has good health. He's a wonderful, wonderful person. He has been a wonderful friend to me. He cares for my sister by another mother, Barbara. And he's been a friend. He has friends from college days when he went to, I believe it was the University of Arizona. Don't move away, Stan. Come back over here. He doesn't like attention, but that's okay. So what I want to do, with tradition we have here on Words of Wisdom, Moments of Meditation, is to sing him happy birthday, even though I know it's not for the 6th, but we're close, right? And what did you say? he said he hopes he makes it to the 6th. All right, so let's get this in now then. But all kidding aside, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Stan, which is not his real name, but we'll say it anyway. Happy birthday to you. Hey, applause. Fantastic. Those are all the people that give me a hug. All right, go back over there by the dessert table. There you go. So congratulations, Stan, and we hope on behalf of Jock Williams, John Ramsey, and all of us here at WAPJ that you have many more years of health and happiness and love with my sister from another mother, Barbara. So, all right, so that was exciting. And let's get over to Stan, the coffee man, and let's see what he has in his little bag of tricks over there. What do we got today, Stan? Espresso della, wow, della means of the Italian. Espresso della Autunno. Wow. Di zucca. So really what it is, Stan, I'll translate it, is the coffee is coffee with a hint of pumpkin in there. And wow, because it's fall, very clever. And what do we have on the table? Well, there's a nice little cake here that says, Happy Birthday, Stan. That's a surprise. I know George snuck that in while you were up on the stage. Thank you, George. And then we have pumpkin blondies and pumpkin bread made by none other than my wife, Diana, for you, Stan. She likes you. So we have fresh stuff here to eat. Everyone, yes, there's some new people. You can come up during the program. And who is our sponsor today, Stan? Wow, none other, keeping the Italian theme, none other than Geppetto's. And my wife, Diane, and I went there for her birthday last week. Fabulous place on East Main Street. It's like Little Italy over there. So there's the Venetian and there's Geppetto's, but they are sponsoring the dessert table, the coffee, and all of that. So feel free, everyone, to come up and do what you want and enjoy the day. So we talked about the Yankees. We got that out of the way, and let's keep moving along. So today's topic is about being genuine, okay? And I was inspired by this. I put this on Facebook. You can go on Tommy Bozzi. You'll see the picture up there. I was inspired by my friend Alicia, who does the Saturday morning show, Alternative Anthems, and I listen to that. My wife, Dan, and I put my picture of Ronald Reagan up there and go back to the 80s, the boom, boom 80s, we used to call it in the construction trade when I was in that discipline years ago. But anyway, so when she met Lady Diana over a year ago, first words out of her mouth, and women are better at people's characters than men. I think all the women in the audience would agree. George, could you just turn the heat up a little bit? A little nippy in here overnight. Thank you. And if you guys need anything, just ask George. He can help you with whatever you need. So first thing Alicia said about Diane is, boy, she is genuine. Wow. First words on it, didn't really just sat down, heard George and myself. We were introducing her to them, and the first word she said is genuine. And boy, oh boy, was Alicia right. My wife is the real deal. The way you see her out in public, the way she is at SLR International, that's where she works, the way she is with me, there's no two-faced, there's no another Diana. It's who she is. She is. And so with that inspiration, this is a topic I never did before on Words of Wisdom, Moments of Meditation. And I said, why don't we approach this? Being genuine is not easy, okay? And we all struggle with it. I struggle with it. I always say on this program, the topics I pick are things that I struggle with sometimes, all right? Or all the time. So being the real us, being the real deal is not always easy. And I even put on Facebook promoting the show, are you up for the challenge, okay? Because we want to improve in life, we have to admit our faults. We have to admit that we have blemishes. And because of those faults, we want to improve. And God's mercies, as it says in Lamentations, are new every day. So we get a fresh start every day. If you're not a believer in the one true God, then whatever you believe in. Like I said a couple weeks ago, if you want to think of Grandpa saying, boy, Johnny, you can really do it, then that's fine, all right? But have that mentorship, have that feeling of someone or something that can guide you. So let's move over to our first scripture quote, and it's from Matthew chapter 23, verse 27. Now, this is going to sound a little strange to all of you, but just hang in there because T-Boz will guide you through. And it says, Matthew, it says, you are like whitewashed tombs. What are you talking about, Boz? Well, let me clarify all of this. What was happening in those days, and not the Jewish people, the leaders, the Sanhedrins and the Pharisees of those days, were trying to catch Jesus, all right? They're trying to get him in a corner. And they were talking about all the things that they did. Look at me, I clean the dishes and I clean this and I go to temple every day and I make sacrifices and I wear the right clothes and all of that. And then Jesus, in his simple, beautiful, non-complicated message says, you are like whitewashed tombs. What do they mean by that? Well, a tomb is nothing pretty, right? Okay, we've all visited them. And if you whitewash it, boys and girls, it's still a tomb. So what he was saying is that they on the outside were not really who they were on the inside. And if Jesus was a botanical person and he liked flowers, which I'm sure he did, you go back to, there's a plant in Vietnam. He would probably say this in Vietnam. There was a plant in Vietnam called the voodoo plant. This is real. Okay, Marianne in research got all this for me. And the voodoo plant grows very, very tall, like a spike. It has beautiful green leaves and a beautiful purple flower like you've never seen before, cradled right into the middle of the plant. It's the most stunning plant. When they have these botanical shows, people come from all over to see the voodoo plant. But they don't come to see its beauty. What's odd about the voodoo plant is that there is a stench that comes from this plant. And one botanical person said that the smell of the voodoo plant smells like 3 dead mice in a bag. Okay, what am I talking about? Are we the voodoo plant? Whitewashed tombs. Are we so beautiful or concentrating so much on the outside that we're rotting like dead mice on the inside? Do we have that stench? Are we the real deal? That's what Jesus meant when he said, you're like whitewashed tombs. He would have used the voodoo plant like I did as an example. So as we're trying to be genuine, or we're working on being genuine, we really have to put that mirror up, like Michael Jackson says, the man in the mirror. Got to put that mirror up and look at it objectively and say, okay, you in the mirror, I want to change some things. Let's look at the late, great Jesse Owens, and he won 4-time gold medalist in 1936. He definitely crossed the color line there, and he says, the battle that counts are not the ones for gold medals, but the struggles from within. Boom. And we talked about that last week. Harry Truman said that when he read about different people, it was their inward struggle. And we kind of come back to that again today with Jesse Owens. But it's not the battles for gold medals, but it's the struggles within. So as we're working on, or trying to be genuine in different situations with family, with coworkers, and all of that, as we're doing that, there's the struggle within, because sometimes something is pulling us. Maybe our spiritual view, maybe our religious view, maybe that brother-in-law we don't like, maybe that sister-in-law we're not getting along with, all right? So we're pulled left and right. That's okay. That's part of life. So that's what Jesse Owens is saying. It's not so much the gold medals in life, it's that struggle within. How do we cope with the struggle within? We looked at Mehmet Murat, Muradildin, and says, and this person says, know all the paths, but walk on your path, original you. Boom. So the way to be genuine is to be you. We say on this show at the end, be yourself. Everyone is taking, all right? So the way to be genuine is to be you. There's a lot of paths you can take, but like my friend Father Dave said, the choices you make you. So as you're going through life, as you're coming against situations, if you're in situations or circumstances, you want to take the genuine path, be true to yourself. Be true to you. Okay, what your moral code is, your moral compass. Maybe your parents have built that into you. Maybe you didn't have, Leave It to Beaver parents, so maybe it was a teacher or a coach or a friend that mentored you and gave you that core belief. I believe that everyone in this room and the people listening on air, we are genuine people. We struggle, but we're striving to be better. And so you have that compass in you. You have the spirit, what I believe, from the one true God. There's going to be 4 quotes I'm going to do today, and I want everyone in the classroom, and I have these highlighted, put the pencils down, put your feet flat on the floor, even the people sitting in the back and the higher chairs back there, and close your eyes and just listen to this. There's going to be 3 others, okay? Here's the first one. It's from a Russian author. His name is Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I believe I said that right. All right, now just listen. The dividing line between good and evil does not pass through parties, groups, or classes of people. It cuts through the heart of every human being. Bing, bang, boom. The dividing line is not in parties or clubs. It cuts through the heart of every human being. Goes right back to Jeremiah 17, verse 9. The human heart is deceitful above all things. You can open your eyes and pick up your pencils. That quote is on the screens behind me. What's hurting us from being genuine is not in the groups that we belong to, but what is in our hearts. That is where the line, that is where the sword, that is where the separation is. It's not in what you're doing, it's in you. That's the bad news. In us, I'm included in this. The good news is you have the spirit and the power and the ability to change that, and hopefully change that in other people. The dividing line. We focus so much on the color of the group we're in, whether it's red or blue or gray or green, it doesn't matter. We focus on the church that we go to, right? The baseball team we like. But the dividing line, what cuts, is in the human heart. And like I said, Jeremiah, we learned that almost 2 years ago. But we can change that. We look at the next scripture verse here, and it's from Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. And Jesus says this, this people hears, okay? Right? This people hears, but they don't feel with their heart. So these people, he says, offer their lips, but they don't offer, their hearts are far from me, he says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 8. So he's talking about lip service, going right back to what Alexander, the Russian author, said. These people give me their lip service, but their hearts are far from me. You can't be genuine in whatever your belief is. I'm not saying you have to be a Christian, you have to be a Jew, a Muslim. I'm not saying that. Whatever your belief is, whatever your political belief is, you own that. That's why we live in this country, right? We have the ability to hopefully, without any damage, believe what we feel is correct. That's fine. But Jesus says their hearts are far from me. There's a lot of people do a lot of talking, a lot of yapping, but in their hearts, they're far from what the message is. And you can't be genuine about who you are and what you believe in if you don't really feel that within, if you're just giving it lip service. Talk is cheap, right? And so a lot of times people say, well, is scripture irrelevant? This is 2,000 years ago. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. So as you're working on being genuine, what are your lips saying? What are you saying, and what are you really feeling? What you have to be saying, boys and girls, is what you feel in your heart. And that's where the dividing line is. It's my clock, I know, is a little off over here at the classroom, Jock. You know what? But if you are available, could we do the sponsors now, and then I can roll along? I guess he's in the middle of...
I'm here.
There he is. There he is, boys and girls.
Want to thank T-Boz for his contributions here to our radio station, and we want to encourage each and every one of you, if you would like to participate in your local community radio station, to please do so. You can send us your events, activities, and programs to wapj.org. Excuse me, that's info at wapj.org. And Thursdays is your day for our local and live segment. If you're a business, artist, venue, or person of interest, and you want to blast off to the community to let everyone know what you're doing, what you're up to, and what you're all about, then let's make it happen. Each and every Thursday right here on the Feel Good Show. So we want to continue to encourage you to listening to your radio station, your local community radio station. We've been here for over 25 years serving the needs of the Torrington community and now beyond. So we thank you for your patronage. And with all that being said, we'll return the floor back over to T-Boz for more words of wisdom and moments of meditation.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And just do a quick promote. My friend Derek in the Deep Track comes on after the Feel Good Show. He takes artists and goes deep into their albums, their recording careers, the way they recorded songs. You guys really want to hear something really cool from 12 o'clock until 3. Keep the dial where it is. Derek in the Deep Tracks. He's very knowledgeable, and he plays a lot of music in 3 hours. So back to what we're talking about, and he is genuine. Talk about genuine. How do we become genuine? What are some things that we can do? Okay. The first thing, we look at Matthew chapter 5 again, verse 24, and it says, first, be reconciled with your brother first. Then come here and give me gifts. Now, I'm going to jump to this woman. Her name is Ezra Benson, and she says, in all your relationships, the most important relationships are your brothers and your sisters and your mother and father. They should come first. I'm going to tie these together. We go back to Matthew, and it says, first, before you come to me with gifts, be reconciled with your brother. So we're talking about hypocrisy. You can't be saying, oh, Jesus, I love you, or I'm going to help this committee when I'm still fighting with my brother. But I'm going to take a little segue here. If you are someone that had a bad experience, we'll say it like that, maybe through some type of abuse, verbal or otherwise, and there are people, even if they are your mother, father, or sister, or brother, Scripture is not telling you to keep those relationships. You need to distance those relationships, all right? What they're talking about here is maybe that brother-in-law you had a misunderstanding with, or your sister that maybe something happened a few years ago kind of thing. Maybe they moved and you weren't happy about the move and those types of things. I personally, because I want to be genuine, there are people that I have distance in my life. I do that because they don't have the same moral code, moral compass that I have, and they don't need any more of me. And it's the same thing to all of you. If you've been the victim of some kind of abuse, those people don't need any more of you. They don't get any more of you. And so you're not being ungenuine if you distance yourself, if you don't talk to those people, because that space is how you'll heal. So you're not being like the Pharisees, a whitewashed tomb. You're protecting yourself and you're protecting the people you love, okay? So I want to clarify that. And also in my own life, you know, people may say, well, T-Boz is a hypocrite. But no, I keep people I love and people I care about and people I respect close, and people that don't really measure up, I just leave them out. There's no value to that. So you have to watch with Scripture sometimes. It says be reconciled with your brother. It does. But that's why it's good to have someone like myself or your pastor or minister or priest to help you understand those things. Because with Scripture, you just can't drop in unless you know the whole thing. So I want everyone to realize that. We go on to... let's see. Yeah. Okay. Right. We're on track here. So first, be reconciled with your brother. The other thing to be genuine is truth. Can't emphasize that enough. What did Pilate say to Jesus? What is truth? Okay. That's the biggest question in the Bible. What is truth? Right. And I think we're all striving for that. Okay. But be truthful in your relationship. Be honest if you want to be genuine. Lady, my wife, Dan, and I, we have a thing here where we say nothing gets past us. If it's the smallest thing, like where we put the spoon over maybe larger things, everything is discussed, nothing is assumed. So truth, honesty. I said to her when we met over a year ago, I want total openness. I want total transparency. You don't have to tell me something to protect me from something else. Okay, so truth is very important. And truth always offends. It always has. That's why they killed Jesus, because he was telling the truth. That's why they took out Martin Luther King and other people, because they were telling the truth. They're telling what they believed. And then they kill people for it. And that's not the way things are supposed to go. So be truthful in what you say. Make sure that what you're saying is not manipulative. It's not because you're trying to turn someone's mind to your way. It's different if you're trying to help someone's mind, if you're trying to help them grow. Maybe it's a granddaughter, grandson, but you're going to hear a great quote in a couple of minutes. So truth, right, is very important as you're trying to work on being genuine. We look at James, the Apostle James, chapter 1, verse 22. He says, be doers of the word, not only hearers, deceiving yourself. How many of us sit there, you hear the word, maybe it's on a podcast, maybe it's in a church, maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's something you see on the internet. You hear it and you go, okay, and you go right back out and do what you were doing. So be doers of the word. Anyone can hear it, right? We go right back to being whitewashed tombs. You have to hear it. You have to internalize it. It's not a Christian word like I talk about in this show. Maybe it's another belief that you believe in. I'm sure Buddhism and Hinduism and Judaism and other isms, they all teach good, moral, genuine ways of living. So whatever your belief system is, if you believe in the natural forces of nature like the American Indians do, that's fine, okay? But be doers of that. Just don't listen to it and let it roll off your back like water off a duck's back, So listen to it. Here's another one by James. This is another one where I want everyone to put their pencils down, put their feet on the floor, close your eyes and listen to this, because this is going to back up what we just said. You can almost end the show with this one. James chapter 1, verse 26. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, his religion is worthless. Boom. If you don't bridle your tongue and deceive your heart, your religion is worthless. Boom. I always say on the show, I'm a faithful man. I'm Catholic, but I don't follow all the things of the Catholic Church. I'm telling you the truth, right? That's the thing. I eat meat on Friday. I don't give up things during Lent. That's the way. I'm just telling you honestly, okay? But what I talk about on this program is having faith. What Jesus taught the disciples was faith. It turned into a religion, but it's faith. But some of us think our genuineness is throwing our religion up in front of people's faces, walking with our own 10 commandments like Moses did and saying, here, I'm genuine because I do this. Goes right back to whitewashed tombs. And it says if you don't bridle your tongue, you're deceiving your own heart. The human heart is deceitful by nature. And we go right back to the Russian author where he says the dividing line is the line that is drawn between human beings in their heart. So the heart is the heart of being genuine, right? Jesus said, make your yeses, yeses, and your noes, noes. If you're going to show up, show up. That's being genuine. If you're going to tell your kids you're going to take them out to dinner, cancel the business plan and take those kids to dinner. They're only going to be 8 or 9 for so long. Some of us are just thinking we got all the time in the world. I got good news for you. You don't. And so you want to grab those moments. So if anyone thinks he is religious, but he doesn't bridle his tongue, his religion is worthless. This is from an apostle. Okay? So when people say, well, it says in the Bible, read the Bible, boys and girls. Read all of it, not just the verses you like. Read all of it. Because if you really read it, you'll say, uh-oh. And you don't want to go through life saying, uh-oh, you want to be genuine. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. That's why I'm doing this program today. I have to work on being genuine. I'm in the public eye. People look at me and say, you just said that on the radio. But I want to be the real deal. And so I work on it. All right, here's another one. Pencils down, feet on the floor, close your eyes. Norman Cousins. He lived from 1915 to 1990, and he was an author and a writer, obviously, and he was a journalist, and he's an American journalist and all of that. So this is what he says. The real tragedies of life, okay, the real tragedy of life is what dies in a man while he is still alive. The death of genuine feelings, the death of inspired responses, okay, inspired responses, and the awareness of someone else's pain and their glory. Boom. What is he talking about? When you turn numb. Let that sit for a minute. When you turn numb. You cannot be genuine if you no longer can feel the glory or the pain, the awareness of someone else. That's what they mean when he says the real tragedy of life is when a man dies while he's still alive, when he's given up, when he's figured it's all done, when he becomes skeptical. You can't be genuine if you're having those feelings. We are all connected. We want to be able to rally in someone's glory and be there in their pain. You don't want someone saying to you, gee, you were hanging around with me. What do they say about fair weather friends? But then life got yicky for me, and where were you? I got more friends 10 years ago when Lori passed away and another little blip in the radar screen than I ever had when things were going well. So let's not be the man that dies while he's still alive or the woman that dies while she's still alive. Let's be able to have those real feelings, those genuine feelings, the feelings of concern, what Jock talks about the feelings of community. I say it all the time on this program. These people do this, all these DJs on the WAPJ do this because they have feelings for the community at large. All of you sitting here, there are people doing these radio programs for you. They don't even know you, but they want to increase the value of your life, the quality of your life with songs or sports shows or whatever we do here. That's what you don't want to die while you're still alive. Marion Wright says this: learn to be quiet enough to hear the genuine in you, in yourself, so that you could hear the genuine in someone else. So if you're genuinely in touch with yourself, genuinely in touch with your beliefs, genuinely in touch with how you feel about certain things, whether social problems or whatnot, then when you're in touch, if you could be still, right, this says in the Bible, be still and know that I am God. If you could be still and be quiet for a moment with yourself, then you can feel the genuineness in other people, and you can make that connection. Rashid Oquinlu, man, some of these names are hard to do, but I'm doing the best I can, says this: be genuinely interested in people you meet, and they will be genuinely interested in you. So when someone's talking to you, when someone's having a conversation, really listen to them. I talked about Stan earlier. There was a point in my life, he could have said, look, you're Barbara's friend. Go sit and talk to her. I want to listen to the jazz music at Sasso's on a Thursday night. But no, he put his chair next to mine, and he said, Boz, go ahead, talk. And on Sundays, we went up to the Brass Horse, and he sat there and helped me up to the dance floor so I could dance and walk me back. And so he took a general interest in me, and he came to me through Barbara was my friend. So he was like the second friend, but he didn't see a line there, right? The line didn't cut through his heart. He said, here's a guy that needs someone to talk to. I'm going to be that person. And I thank him for that. Thank you again, Stan. Matthew chapter 15, verse 11 says, a man does not become impure from within, but that which comes from without. And that goes right back to whitewashed tombs, right? They thought everything on the outside. A man does not become impure from without. The Jewish leaders in those days thought, well, if you cleaned the dishes, if you ate certain food, if you did all of that, then you would have purity, then you would be genuine, then you'd be good. But Jesus says, no, it doesn't work that way. Man doesn't become impure from without. It's that which comes from within. Exactly what we've been talking about all morning here, about the human heart. You can't get any more within than the heart. And Alan Cummings, who was a Scottish actor and director, and he died in 2018, and he was born in 1952, not a long life. But he says this: kids are more genuine when they come up to you and talk to you because they don't have an agenda. Boom. We want to be genuine. Let's talk to people without an agenda, without always having to push our football forward. What did the apostles say to Jesus in Matthew? I believe it's chapter 18. Who is the greatest? Who is the greatest in your kingdom? Who will be the greatest? And there's a crowd of people, and Jesus asked this little child to come and sit on his lap. You have to realize in those days, boys and girls, there was men, there was animals, then there was women, and then there were children. They were considered the least most important thing in society. And so these guys these bunch of fishermen, these guys are, hey, we want to be top. Who's the greatest? Rabbi, better be me because I'm doing all of this and I'm doing all of that. And without saying anything, he asked a little child to sit on his lap. And all he says to them is, be like this child. Humble, no agenda, an open heart, not like a whitewashed tomb, not like the voodoo flower, all fluff and doesn't smell good. Like what Jesse Owens says, working with struggles within. What St. James says about bridling your tongue, okay? About being interested in other people. This is, in truth, this is what being genuine is all about. It's hard because we have our human nature sometimes pulling us the wrong way. But we can be the genuine people that we want to be. We can do it. I know you can do it. And it takes getting up every morning and saying, all right, today's a new day. I'm going to make sure that what I say, there's no agenda. I'm not manipulating anybody. And I'm not going to be a whitewashed tomb. Let's get to our takeaway. And it's by the great poet Robert Frost, a name I can say. Look at that. And just here we go. Here's the takeaway. All of you have heard this, but I think it's perfect for today's program. 2 roads merged in the woods, and I took the least traveled. And that has made all the difference. 2 roads merged in the woods, and I took the road least traveled. And that has made all the difference. If you want to really be genuine, take the road less traveled. Don't follow the herd, okay? We're not cows. Cows just come into the barn at 4 o'clock because that's just what they do. But we're human beings. We're above animals. I know some of you don't like that, but we are. And we're made in God's image. And so we can make the choice to take the road less traveled, to make the right decision, to care for a fellow human being, to listen to someone when they're talking to us, to not have an agenda like a child, to be pure from within, not from without, to not always reach for the gold medal, but to fix what's inside of us so that we can be the gold medal. We can be that prize that people want to be around. We can be the light in the world. We are the light, and we can be that light by being genuine. So I just want to thank everyone. George by the door, tremendous job. Marianne in research, wow, we got to learn. I got to work on how to pronounce some of those names. Stan, happy birthday to you. Harrington Fair this week starts Friday. Get your fall butts out there. I know it was 110 degrees over the summer. Now we got beautiful weather out there. So get your girl. I'm going to take my wife, Diana, to the fair tomorrow night, eat some pulled pork or whatever they have over there, and enjoy the autumn time. So be yourself. Be genuine, because everyone else is taken. Jock, let's hit that song.